mercy, mercy, mercy all the time. Especially in this church, the Catholic Church today, they don't talk about God's justice. But you can't separate his justice from his mercy. And that's what they do. You can't, we're going to see about the abuse of divine mercy. And you see it abused constantly. St. Augustine says the following, that the devil deludes men in two ways, one by despair and the other by hope. After the sinner has offended God, the enemy, by placing before his eyes the terror of divine justice, tempts him to despair. But before he sins, the devil encourages him to sin with the hope of divine mercy. My friend, I'm telling you as a priest, this is so true. I deal with this with sinners all the time. The devil will tell you, don't worry about it. Don't worry. You could confess. Don't worry. God will forgive you. He's all merciful. I have a friend of mine. I know her father's been a drunk his whole life. I tried to help the guy. Got him in rehab once, a good place. And then, unfortunately, he's drunk again. And her mother, who's supposed to be a good Catholic, she says, oh, God won't send him to hell. Oh, really? It says right there in the Bible, no drunkard will enter the kingdom of heaven. Oh, no, God's a loving God. Oh, yeah, he is. But he won't be mocked. Okay, he won't be mocked. So, once again, before you sin, the devil's going to tell you, go ahead, go for it. It'll be all right. You got time. You're a young man. Don't worry about it. Sow your oats. But then once you do it, despair comes. And let me tell you something. It's scary. You talk to any priest that has to deal with a soul that's in despair. It makes my hair stand up. It's beautiful to see God's mercy in action, but when you see a hardened sinner that the devil's on, and they go right to their death sometimes, they say, it's impossible. God can't forgive me. Nobody can forgive me. The devil rides them. Because the devil will come at your death more at the moment of your death than throughout your whole life. And he comes with all his cohorts. Because if he could snag you in that one moment, he owns you for eternity. And if you have all these sins, the devil's going to throw them in your face. And that's what he does. You cannot be forgiven. So St. Augustine gives us the following advice. After sin, hope for mercy. But before you sin, fear justice. He who abuses God's mercy to offend him is undeserving of mercy. God shows mercy only to those who fear him. So when so many people, they do this. And people that come to church all the time, the young men, forget about it. With the pornography out there, and they have such access to it, it's disgusting. They're in bondage, and they know Father will be in here, I'll confess, and the confessional becomes a revolving door. It's disgusting. You're abusing God's mercy. You said, I'm going to keep doing this because you're going to keep forgiving me. Really? I don't think so.